Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are, of course, talking about the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. And yes, I know I'm a little bit late, but that was mostly just due to chaos continuing. But yes, so briefly, let's just quickly talk about 293 and 294 because I didn't get a chance to talk about them in the past. Briefly, 293 was hilarious, and I loved seeing all of the just hilarious moments with uh, Bakugo's new hero name, and of course, Froppy's style Black Whip. But that's beside the point. The next chapter, 294, was kind of just meh with the whole reveal that freaking Mr. Compress is Oji Hariyama's great-great-grandson. Honestly, it wasn't that interesting. But now, let's actually talk about 295. And honestly, this chapter was pretty interesting. We start off the chapter with Deku waking up, and we find out that he is basically Spider-Man now. Like, just... yeah, he's Spider-Man. I mean, freaking Black Whip, he shoots from his arm. I mean, we all know what we're all thinking about that whole situation. Freaking, and now we have a Spidey sense from I believe the fourth user is what they said. So, yeah, Mr. Thunderbolt is what I'm gonna still continue to call him. I don't care that it's not his quirk, but yeah, yeah, the lightning bolt guy doesn't shoot lightning. Instead, he can feel when danger is coming, and it's a very strong quirk now, which I do have to say is kind of interesting. And then obviously, of course, Deku has the other two quirks, but that's beside the point. Basically, Deku is Spider-Man now. Anyone who is dressing up as Deku as Spider-Man, congratulations, you win the award for being able to guess at what the Deku's power set was going to be. But the rest of the chapter is pretty iffy, not too great. We continue to see the continuation of the battle where Mr. Compress releases them. We find out that he was able to compress Dobby and hide him away in Spinner's cloak, which honestly that was probably the best decision he made because there was no way, no how that Dobby wasn't going to continue fighting, at least unless he calmed down for a little bit. And yeah, that was interesting. We then get a few interesting moments of Spinner and Mr. Compress talking, and then Spinner putting probably the last hand onto Shigaraki's face. And then he's awake, and he's not Shigaraki anymore. Let's make that very clear. He is not Tomura Shigaraki. He is now completely all for one. There is nothing inside of him that is still Shigaraki. And that is frightening, to say the least. Now, because of this, we can actually say with some certainty what's going to be happening next. Firstly, they're going to escape. In the next chapter, which we do have to wait 2 weeks before we get that, unfortunately, but when that chapter eventually comes around, we should expect a few things. Firstly, we should expect that Shigaraki is going, or one for all, or all for one, I mean, is going to call all of the Nomu to him, as well as Gigantamacha, and then he and Spinner are going to escape, as well as quite a few of the Nomu and Gigantamacha, possibly also Computer Geek, whatever his name is, but basically they're all going to run away and escape. This battle is done. Everyone is injured. Shigaraki was not ready to actually be released, in all honesty. And that's important to just note. But the last bit is actually kind of interesting. We get some last things from Deku. Deku, during the moments when he was within the All for One and One for All, he saw Shigaraki, and he apparently feels that Shigaraki needed to be saved, which leads me to wonder, what exactly does that mean? Could it possibly mean that Shigaraki is actually going to be saved at some point? And maybe not become a hero per se, but at least be saved from All for One. Removing the quirk from him and redistributing all of the quirks back to the people that they were originally taken from, or just having the quirk be permanently removed, be it via the actual shot that could remove quirks before, or perhaps even having Eri remove the quirk from him using her quirk. Honestly, all of these things could have huge effects in the future. And it all remains to be seen on how exactly things are going to play out for the rest of the series. Honestly, I was pretty sure of a few things that could likely happen. The first option is, of course, the escape. Basically, all of the villains escape from the heroes, and it's not a victory for either side. But the other option was that all of the villains actually do get captured and then thrown into Tartarus prison forever, or at least as far as we know, forever. And then eventually we would have the escape arc, basically where all of the villains, everyone in the entire world, basically every villain that is in Tartarus escapes. And that, oh boy, that would be terrifying, to say the least. But basically, all those villains would escape. And I still think that that arc is going to be one of the later arcs down the line. Is it necessarily going to be the last arc? No. But it will be something that leads up to the last arc. So, in that sense, I think that what is now the case is that more than likely they are going to now escape. The escape option just feels so much more likely. However, certain villains are still going to be under arrest and aren't going to be able to be saved, such as, obviously, the Doctor. The Doctor is not going to be escaping whatsoever. He is going straight to Tartarus and staying locked up forever. Possibly executed for everything that he's done, especially after he reveals that, yeah, he's been helping All for One steal quirks for countless years and has stolen Deku's quirk. Yeah, that's going to be revealed soon, so enjoy seeing that, everyone. But all of these things are going to be happening, and obviously they're not going to try and recapture all of those guys, because that just would take so much more extra time that it wouldn't be worth it. So instead, we're going to be getting these brief moments where we're going to be seeing some really interesting stuff. But I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going to be happening from now on. I think instead, for right now, I think there will be a break arc. Basically, where everyone is needing to just calm down. Maybe we'll have like a short little training arc where Deku is learning how to master the other quirks, because now he knows any of his quirks could come out at any moment. Float, we're not certain when that started, because there's that huge break in time, and he seemed to master it pretty quickly. And then we have the Spidey Sense, which I will continue to be calling it. I don't care what name it gets, but it will continue to be called the Spidey Sense. But that one he needs to work on. And as such, he also needs to learn how to master the other quirks as soon as possible, because at any moment, if he's in a battle, suddenly they'll just appear. I mean, Black Whip appeared suddenly. All of them appeared just out of the blue. So he needs to know what he's doing well beforehand and get used to them as quickly as possible before anyone else finds out all of the quirks that he has, which I'm still saying that some of those quirks are likely going to be the ones that I've said in the past. So, yeah, look forward to seeing that happen. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for those. Now then. Now for the final bit. What to expect soon is just going to be a whole chaotic time. But before we actually conclude this video, I would just like to remind you that there will be 2 videos today. The first one is obviously this video, but the second one is my Nerdy Christmas song. Backwater J did release his song, which is on SoundCloud, and so we'll discuss that later, but yeah, look forward to that. But the other song that is my song that I'm releasing today, later today, is, of course, not the song that I was expecting. I was originally going to do We Three Elemental Kings, basically taking the 3 largest kings of the Elemental Multiverse and putting them into their song. But I've actually decided to change it, and now we're going with Deku the Quirkless Hero, which of course is a parody of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So look forward to seeing that at noon later today. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys in the next video. But on!